Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Storytime with Rob. I'm so glad you could join me today. As you can see, it's Sunday, and for a very long time, we were not able to go to church, and today was the first time since March that we were able to attend church. So I was really excited about that. Today, I'd like to share with you my topic is on the refiner's fire. And I have a story about that which takes me back to many years ago. I served a full-time mission 2 years in South Africa, Johannesburg. And while I was there, many of you may not know, you may know that South Africa is probably one of the most wealthy mineral nations in the world. That country is well known for diamonds and, more importantly, gold. Um, Probably one of the greatest wealth deposits of gold anywhere in the world is in South Africa. And one of the areas that we were working in, we were working with some folks, and he was the manager of a gold mine. And it wasn't just any gold mine. This gold mine, I tell you, was the deepest and one of the richest gold mines on earth. And so we got to know him pretty well, and he offered on our P-Day to take us on a tour of the mine. And so we went there. We had to dress in these suits with helmets. We get into this elevator shaft, and I kid you not, this elevator shaft holds about 50 people. And you get into it, and boom, this thing just drops. And for a mile and a half, I have you, we went straight down into the earth. And it was unbelievable. It was quite an unreal experience to think that there's that much earth sitting above you. And many of you may not know this, but when you're down there in those shafts, it's actually pretty windy. You wouldn't think so, but they pump air in there, and then when they open something on one end, that air just, it's like a funnel. It just shoots through there. Anyway, while in there, we actually got to go down into the mine, and we actually got to drill for gold. And I was thinking, richest gold mine in the world, you pull in there and you'd probably see this gold sparkling stuff. No, you don't see any gold. It's just black rock. And we had these big drills, and you drill into the wall, and they would scoop all this up with these little mini excavators they had, put it on a tram that would haul it back out the shaft, and then they would refine it. So when I'm looking at this is black rock dirt. Looks a lot like gravel, black gravel. They pump it out, and until they take it to the refinery and actually heat it and refine it, it really doesn't look like anything. So they put it in these big smelters, and they pour the heat on, and it separates. As you know, you get the slag that comes off, and then the metals are left behind. And it was quite interesting. They showed us the whole process, and at the end of the tour, they took us into this little, I don't know, guest shop thingy that they had there, and they actually showed you how they refined it. And they would melt down in this big smelting pot gold, and then they would pour it into a bar. The bar was about this big and maybe about that thick, kind of like what you'd see in the movies. Extreme heat they would pour onto this until it melted, and then they would pour it into a brick and then cool it off. And we actually got to hold that brick, and matter of fact, one of the things they said was, if you can pick that brick up with one hand, you can take it home with you. And we tried, trust me, it wasn't going to happen. This thing was so big and so extremely dense and heavy. And so my thought process on this was, you melt this, you pour the heat on in the refiner's fire, but what does it do? It actually purifies and makes this gold worth more. The more times they refine it, the more pure it becomes. And so I'm kind of liking this to our life. We may be going through some really difficult times right now. We may be struggling, we may have challenges, we may have trials. Just consider those trials as that bar of gold. Each time they refine it, they heat it and melt it and pour the heat on, it becomes more stronger, becomes more pure, and more wealthy and more desirable. So even though we may be going through difficult struggles, hard times, think of those things as that gold, that it's refining us, it's helping us to become more than we were before, strengthening us, making us even more beautiful. And these experiences will, in time, bless our lives more so than we could ever imagine. But we have to look at it that way. So anyway, I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope you have a fabulous Sunday, and just look at all these experiences in our life as refining fire, and I think if you do that, it may help you to shine just a little bit more. Till tomorrow, be safe.